Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 15 of the Cooler Guild. I'm your host, Coop, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host, Van.
Hello.
We are recording on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Reigns' third league win in a row down in LA, including all of the VAR chaos, other results around the league, and news in the league. There's some other stuff going on there. And all, as usual, our quick preview of the Reigns' next match.
But first, some housekeeping. The Cooler Guild is part of the Sounder at Heart podcast network. You can either listen to us on our public feed, or if you're a Sounder at Heart subscriber, on the private unified feed with the other podcasts on the network.
If you'd like to become a subscriber, just visit our page at sounderatheart.com/the Cooler Guild. New subscribers get 10% off the normal rate, and you'll help support everything that we're doing. Anything exciting happen with you recently? Anything good happened to you recently?
I did get to go on my favorite tall ship last weekend.
I think a different, was this a different ship?
Yeah, so the one I went on the week before was a tugboat.
Oh, this is double ship weekends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Olympia, man. We got a lot of ships. But
Okay.
I went running on Thursday after work, and I was running down at the beach, and I saw a tall ship pulling into Olympia.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh my God, I gotta go figure what one it is. And so I ran back up, hopped in my car, drove down to to the port, figure out which one it was, and it was my favorite tall ship, the Lady Washington.
Do you know the people who have the ship or something?
No, so it's like a historical tall ship.
Oh, okay.
It was in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Got it. Okay.
But I just love it. It's beautiful. It's actually a recreation of the original. It's owned by Grace Harbor Historical Society. But
Cool.
they fly. They do something that you're not supposed to do, which is they fly the state flag over the American flag.
Mm.
And also we're flying like a pride flag as well as like a trans pride flag.
Nice.
And I was like, hell yeah.
Nice.
No, so the tall ship, yeah, that was the highlight of my weekend. What'd you do? Anything fun?
I mean,
other than the rain win. I'm sorry.
yeah, the rain one was a big part of my weekend. I had a friend visit in town, which was great, but I also bought a lava lamp today.
Oh,
What
color?
It's like the classic like purple with orange glow.
Ooh.
Which
Where'd you get that?
I got it at Fred Meyer because I love Fred Meyer, but
What's on your list today?
yeah, exactly, a lava lamp. But I've been going to Fred Meyer for the last, I don't know, 8 months, maybe more, and looking at this lava lamp and being like, I think this would bring joy to my wife. I should get this lava lamp. And then I researched lava lamps, and then I found out it's bad to buy lava lamps in the winter, I guess, have them shipped and stuff. But then turns out the same brand that they sell online that's number one, recommended is also the same one they sell in Fred Meyer. So today was the day I got it because the entire lava lamp section at Fred Meyer was gone. They're getting rid of the lava lamps. And I saw an end cap and there was 2 left. So I made sure to get one of the last 2.
That's great. This is not going to work for me.
Your cat just being all up in your zone.
Oh,
well, that's fine, right?
Oh, you just turned my volume off. Let me move this back a bit. Okay, here we go.
Anyway, so if you're wanting a lava lamp, they might be going out of stock soon at Fred Meyer. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I saw what was happening, and I didn't want to lose my chance to buy a lava lamp in person, especially with winter approaching. We need some lighting by our bar area. We have no lighting over there, and so I've been trying to figure out the right lighting. I was like, this is a great excuse to finally get my lava lamp. I mean, my wife's lava lamp. Remember, this is about her joy.
Yes.
Not mine. Yeah.
Okay, this is not gonna work. Second.
Van's cat, Van Jr., is our guest host.
I don't know if you can hear his purr.
I can't. No purr. I don't hear anything, Van. There's nothing happening.
It's so good though.
Well,
all right, 1 second. Let me kick him out.
So aside, I mean, I still haven't started the lava lamp, but we'll get there. We should get into the game though.
Yeah, so in the Friday night Amazon Prime game, which we have talked about how much we love, the Reign walked away victorious after a 3-2 thriller of a freaking match, man.
Yeah.
Falling behind again early, this time in the 8th minute, the Reign fought back and the half ended with Seattle ahead 2-1. Several VAR decisions and a Ciara King goal later, the match seemed to be headed to a 3-1 win for the Reign until Angel City got one back in 90+9, but it still wasn't enough for the LA team. This win extends Reign's unbeaten streak in league play to 7 games.
Whoop whoop. I think that part kind of gets
What?
missed. I mean, we got a 3-game win streak, but we've also like haven't lost a game since the absolute beating we took against KC.
Yeah, but then our Portland started our unbeaten streak. We don't talk about Summer Cup.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you win Summer Cup, you don't talk about Summer Cup. There's really no point, especially with like the Olympics happening and everything. There's just
There's a lot going on.
Lot going on.
So going into the match, there were some availability things for both teams. So we didn't have Jalen Howell, who's in the last 2 games she's played for us has been excellent in the midfield. She was out with yellow card accumulation, which transferred over her transfer. So, and then Bug and Adamas were out for international duty with the U20s. And then Angel City was missing Giselle Thompson, who was also out with the U20s.
I
really hope they watch this game together.
We don't have a lot of notes. We didn't take any notes on, Bug and Adamas and what they're doing there. But Adamas got 3 assists in one match in one half.
She absolutely killed it. I watched it.
So she's doing good stuff there. Let's bring back that to the Reign. That'd be great. Although we're doing pretty well, but
let's start this earlier than the last time.
Yep, let's do it.
Cheers to the Reign win.
Cheers to the Reign win. I've got an athletic IPA because you don't need alcohol to have fun. Sometimes you don't.
Very true.
Just want to make sure people.
I don't have any NA beers. I just have another King Crispy.
Yeah.
From my dad's stock in the fridge.
So cheers.
I don't keep beer at my house.
That's fair. Cheers to the Reign. Did you actually hear it this time?
No.
God damn it. One day we'll get it. Maybe I should take the foam off when we do that.
Maybe.
It's probably a good call. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So other than the availability going into the match, there was an issue with the heat the day before.
What was it, like 111 the day of the match? Right? Like at one point it was like so hot. 101, something like that. Some crazy.
Yeah.
Triple digits.
But they were talking about on the broadcast how it dropped for game time. So it was actually like a pretty good game time temperature. They didn't think they were going to have any hydration breaks, but then they ended up having to have them.
Yeah, it seemed optimistic to say that early on. I was like, that seems too hot still. Yeah, wild that they didn't get a train. I mean, like, I wonder how many times that's ever happened.
I don't know.
Something to
probably
keep an eye.
More than we know.
Yeah, probably, because summers in this country are no joke sometimes in certain places. And if they don't have like indoor, I mean, most places don't have air-conditioned indoor training facilities for the NWSL especially. So maybe they need to like figure out some backup situations for players.
Yeah, there's got to be some indoor facility or something they can go to get their legs moving and stuff.
Yeah, something. I think the most notable thing about this game is there was nothing exciting going on with VAR. It was straightforward match, nothing interesting. Oh no, wait, that wasn't in this game. This was absolute chaos.
Absolute chaos. And we'll talk about it in a bit. But I think first we should go over some notable stats and then
weren't we doing the stats after the positive?
Oh yeah, we wanted to go into the goals. Let's talk about the goals.
Let's go into the goals and then we'll go to the VAR calls.
Yeah.
I mean, they were not almost goals if they just get chalked off. So
for sure.
First goal, Alyssa Thompson doing her thing she's been doing for weeks. I mean,
there's a giveaway, but
yeah. But I just like there's nothing Claudia Dickey could really do on that. Just shot it really, really well. Sucks to not have a way to combat that speed, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do when there's someone who's on a tear like that?
Well, I think we do have a way to combat that speed. It's just the one player you have back there. She wasn't her responsibility because McLaren's fast enough.
But when a player's on a run, and they're feeling it, it adds this like other element of just like, I don't know, like, they prepared for Alyssa Thompson before this match. And then you're just like, oh fuck, it's happening. It's just like
yeah, but when she beats somebody like Shea Holmes, I don't think that you can blame us not having somebody fast enough back there, especially since we saw what Huerta could do.
Yeah,
against them. So I think that it was early. It just sucked, but we got one back. Didn't let them score
We didn't let them score. We didn't let them score until like extra time later.
Yeah,
in the second half. So
Yeah, so 31st minute, Sofia Huerta converted a penalty again,
Yeah.
second time in 2 games.
Other direction
Uh,
too, right? They said.
yeah, she went the opposite way. It wasn't a great penalty, but the goalkeeper went the
I
other way.
mean,
So yeah.
it was a little, she saw the goalkeeper which way she was going, but like she did like get it in the corner. She like
Oh,
nestled
she
it.
absolutely, the goalkeeper gave away where she was going. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So Huerta, like, kudos to her, just slotted it on the other side. So,
Yep.
and
G Magic. G Magic after this.
yeah, end of the first half. So this is when I actually turned the game on because I missed the first part of the
Yeah, that's
game
right.
because
Okay.
I was
Yeah, and
on
then
that
you
tall
texted me.
ship.
You're like, oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I was on that tall ship and then got back to watch the game and I turned it on and I thought it would be in the second half, but there was so much fucking extra
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
that we were still in extra time in the first half and it must have been like 2 minutes after I put the game on and she's just like do 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 with the ball in the box and then no run up, no nothing, just pop pop
Yeah. Ridiculous. And
golazo.
I mean, she just like curves it around the goalkeeper. I mean, it was just the composure and everything that she needed to like do that. And then, and the technique, right? Because like that's all technique at the end of the day for that to go in. And at the post-game interview, it was like AMC was just like, "Are you gonna pass it to me? Oh no, she's just doing her own thing. And I guess I'll just like let her do it." And King pointed out like G's been on one. Yes. Yes, she is. And I want
Yeah.
her to keep going this way because this is what we saw in all the highlight reels. This is what her career has been known for, and we're getting it now at least 2 weeks in a row. I welcome it. I'm happy about it. I love seeing it. It's so much fun.
Second half starts. We don't give up an early second half goal.
Hooray.
Hooray!
Hooray.
And we actually score one, 58th minute, which almost gets called back. So AMC plays a great ball in from the right side of the box to the left, kind of curls around the back line, and King comes into it,
Mhm.
puts it across, and Haidema's there. And you can't quite tell if Haidema taps it in before or after it crosses the line. And the more I watched it, the more I could see that it crossed the line.
Mhm.
But how tragic would that have been?
Haidema almost stole the goal, but she didn't. Also, Z got finally rewarded with all the hard work she's been doing. I know you've been on the Z hype train for, I would say, reasons that are probably obvious, but is this working better now without Balser?
Yeah, I think that my concerns with her were very much tied into the system and the way that they were playing those
Hmm.
front players and the connectivity with the midfield.
Yeah.
And when you have AMC in the midfield who is just so good at creating opportunities, it allows for players like King to get on the ball more. And that's just what we weren't seeing.
Yeah. And I mean, even
And
like we had Haidema like have a lot more chances too.
well, and
Yeah.
she's gotten so we're gonna talk about this, but like she's gotten so much better like with her hold up play
Yeah.
and her just kind of melding into the defensive shape of that forward line.
Yeah.
So I was really happy that King got her goal.
Yeah. For sure.
And it sucked that the game didn't end 3-1, but they were pressing hard.
I mean, thank God we had VAR. I do think they were the right calls. So like it's not like they missed a call or and it went on quickly or something like that. But like we might have lost had VAR not existed.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree with that.
It would have been wrong, but yeah.
There were a couple calls, including that King goal.
Hmm.
The King goal was reviewed because Haidema was offside and she touched the ball.
Yeah.
But I think it was over the line. There weren't a lot of good angles, which I will say.
They need to get a camera above.
Yeah, or goal line camera.
Yeah, goal line technology would even do.
Yeah, get a goal line camera. But so there was a couple. There was a handball in the box in the 52nd minute. I think this one is the one I would be most critical of.
Yeah.
Because so the ball comes into the box and Sinigorcevic, it hits her foot, and her and Holmes are right next to each other. It hits Sinigorcevic's foot, pops up, and then it hits Holmes' right arm that is kind of up because she's moving.
Hmm. It's kind of tucked in a little bit though. It's not it's not fully out.
It's kind of chicken wing, but her forearm is out.
It is, but it's not fully like the arm's not fully extended out.
No, and so that was the argument I kind of made in my notes was like is it just like normal body movement?
Yeah.
Does this just like her, this is what creates her like her player outline?
Yeah.
Um I'm I'm not sure about that one, but it's also like it's so hard for a player to adjust when that
Mm-hmm.
ball comes in so quickly and
Yeah.
it hits the player next to them's
Yeah.
foot and they're just moving.
Yeah.
It's not like she could adjust to put her arm out to hit the ball.
Yeah. It would have been harsh. It would have been pretty harsh. I would have understood, I think, had they called it. But I do think, what else was she supposed to do in that situation? She had no time to move. I
Yeah,
mean,
but that doesn't really
she could
count
have
for
been in the
other.
box, like, like with her arms like completely tucked in. She could have been like that, I guess, to really avoid a handball, which you do see defenders do all the time now, just because VAR's always looking.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah, that's the one that was 50-50 for me, and I think that the on-field call really made a difference there
yeah,
because the on-field call was no handball.
clear,
Um,
clear and obvious, is always the thing that should be the deciding factor. If you can't figure it out within, like, I would say a minute, they really need to like lower how long they're looking at plays. But if
yeah.
they have the call on the field as one call and they take longer than a minute, just stick with what your original call is.
Yeah,
But that
I
would have been, I mean, they came to a decision pretty quickly on that one, right?
yeah, they did.
They whistled it like
Um,
pretty quickly.
yeah, and they didn't bring it to the on-field monitor.
Yeah.
So, I would have brought that to the on-field monitor, but I'm not a referee, and I'm not saying that we should have won the game, and I'm really happy these calls were going our way.
Yeah.
But I think that that one, for me, out of all of them, was the most kind of gray area. Then we had another one in the 67th minute where Vignola scores a great shot from just outside the box.
It was a banger.
It was a banger. And then they were reviewing it, and I'm thinking, what? There was,
It was a very obvious offside.
but there was an offside in the run of play.
It was very
So there was a
obvious.
there was a ball played to so Jasmine Spencer had the ball outside the
Uh-huh.
box,
Uh-huh.
played the ball to Sydney LaRue, plays the ball back to the player that shoots the ball, and scores. There's a couple things going with this one. Spencer, who plays the ball to LaRue, gets fouled. So the referee signals for advantage. LaRue plays the ball to the player that shoots and scores.
Mm-hmm.
And the referee's explanation for calling the goal back for the offside on LaRue was that the advantage had been played. And looking into past calls and a bit about the advantage rule, that second pass to the player that shoots the ball is the next phase of the play.
Yeah.
So it had passed the phase of the foul.
Yeah. You don't score the goal and then call it back to, like, that was your chance. The chance happened. It happened to be offside, but like that was just how it played out. So a different pass could have been made or whatever, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so I think that one was correct. And then we have another VAR.
Mm-hmm. Just to really, really
This
make
one goes to the
Angel City feel
monitor.
bad. Yeah.
This one goes to the monitor, but 85th minute, LA scores. Ref goes to the monitor and calls the goal back for a foul on Sydney LaRue.
Uh-huh.
So there's like a mix up in the box.
Which,
And
yeah, I had told you, I was like, Lester just like fell down and stayed down. What is she doing? Well, I found out what happened. What had happened? What had
yeah.
happened was Sydney LaRue took a couple swipes at her.
Yeah. Lester was trying to clear the ball
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of cut it off in the VAR review, but LaRue hacked at her once and then twice trying to get to the ball
Yeah.
and ends up like kicking her feet.
Yeah.
And so she can't actually get there to
To defend.
clear
No.
to clear the ball. And then another player comes in and scores. So again, I think that was the correct call.
Yep.
And the fans in LA were not happy.
Which,
And I don't know that I would have been happy if I wasn't
no.
able to
No, 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 no,
immediately
no.
see the reviews.
Yeah.
So
Which is probably something they need to change in the stadiums, right? Because it didn't sound like they were having like close plays, but it's also one of those things where like you kind of have to be careful with the way that the crowd starts kind of seeing the game.
yeah.
So I don't know. I go back and forth on like if they need to be showing detailed stuff like that or not. Because you are there to experience stuff, not to just like, I don't know, watch videos. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and I think that energy that the players had of being mad about it,
Hmm.
and the fans really kind of riling them back into that
Yeah, that fueled.
played
Yeah.
played into that last goal that they got.
Oh, it totally fueled them. I mean, all those chances after all these VAR calls was fueling them to try to get back into it, and they had some good chances. And like, I don't know, you're offside. It's not a goal. You foul someone in the box. It's not a goal. Like that's just that. Those are the rules. You can't be upset about that. You can be
Yeah,
upset about like questionable, soft calls, sure, but basic rules with offside when it's very obvious, like I don't know. I think some of these Angel City fans need to kind of get a little bit of a reality check because they're all saying
hmm
this game was stolen and it was bullshit, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. You can cry about it all you want, but maybe score some goals that aren't going to go to VAR every single time.
yeah. I
'Cause-
mean that, and like even if the one that I think maybe could have been more 50-50,
yeah,
you're still not winning the game. You gave
probably
up three
yeah.
goals.
You gave up 3 goals. I mean, that would have put them at 2 goals, but again, I don't think that they're finding that fire at the end of the game if they were, you know, having those without those VAR calls and all that stuff. But I don't know. It was a mess.
Yeah, so I think like overall, and granted, we're coming at this from a bit of a slanted viewpoint, but VAR did its job here. It took too long, but did its job.
Yeah, I agree. And we've had games where it doesn't go our way. This is kind of just the way it goes in the sport.
But this isn't like just go your way. Sure, there might have been one call
Hmm.
that didn't go your way, but otherwise, you're offside.
And you fouled someone.
You fouled someone.
Yeah.
Our player didn't touch the ball until it was over the line.
Yeah, and your goalkeeper like fouled our player, and that's why we got our penalty. I don't know, man. Maybe better choices.
Yeah, that one. So, I mean, it's VAR played a part in this game, but I don't think it played as much as of a part as Angel City was complaining about.
Sure. And I saw some comments from their players afterwards about how the referee was interacting with them, which didn't sound kosher, didn't sound good, because it didn't sound like they were communicating with Angel City or for whatever reason. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I can't read too much into it because I'm just like, well, were you really heated in the moment? Were they just sick of hearing from you? Because it's just like, I mean, it was call off. I mean, I don't feel that bad for the ref, but like, I didn't want to be in that position after having to look at the video monitor that many or like have to like hear from your VAR booth, whatever, whoever's chiming in. Like that just, I mean, you know what the crowd reaction is going to be there. That's not a fun situation to be in.
No, but I also think there were player interactions with the referee that I also don't think are good. And you can't expect, I'm going to try and say this in a very careful way, but you can't expect respect if you don't give it. There was a point after Angel City's last goal where Sidney LaRue grabbed the ball out of the net or tried to, didn't get to it, and runs past the referee and shoves the referee with one of her arms. I understand the frustration, but you just don't do
Hmm.
that. I watched that clip probably like 10 times because I was like, did that really happen? And I
Yeah.
know she's a fiery player and
I mean,
I
that's why
love
we
her
like her.
for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
her for that. But like at the same time,
If you're going to complain about the referee and how they communicated with you, it kind of goes both ways.
yeah.
So,
But for us, did all right.
celebration.
Celebration.
Thank you for listening to the Sounder at Heart Podcast Network, which now includes No Sarietes, Lobbing Scorchers, and the Cooler Guild. We've been independent since August of 2023, but need your support to make sure it continues. Although this podcast is free, it's only made possible by your continued support. Memberships start as low as $25 a year, which not only helps make podcasts like this one happen, but also gets you access to everything we produce. If you're able to support us at higher levels, starting at $75 a year, You gain access to a host of other perks, most notably entry into our members-only Discord, where the smartest, funniest, and most engaged commenters share their thoughts and ideas. To find out more, just visit soundretheart.com and click the subscribe button in the top right corner. Thanks for listening.
Should we go into positives now? Do you want to dive into that, or you got any other things from VAR and the goals?
No, my VAR. I'm so tapped out on VAR.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Angel City, whatever podcast they got going on, I'm sure the entire episode is gonna be about VAR, which is just like you're kind of wasting your own time at that point.
Yeah, I listened to the Louisville one after the last Louisville game, and I was just like, ooh.
It's very rare that I try to sit here and blame the refs, because like ultimately it's still like everyone deals with these issues. So like your team has to figure it out.
Yeah, and you have to score more goals than the other team. And if you feel like they were stolen, well then
we had a game where Laura Harvey was very unhappy with some calls, and to me they were the right calls still. And she was really upset, and I was just like, girl, you gotta move on. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think that there's a root to the frustration that is maybe not the referees.
Yeah. There's an
maybe
underlying
maybe I've been hanging out with a
frustration.
potential therapist too much, but like there's a root of a problem there.
Yeah.
But yeah, positives. There was a clip that came out before this weekend.
There sure was. Lisa Carlin from CBS Sports, who is a host there. I think was she on like the halftime show or something like that? I saw her pop up again, and I was like, oh, this is the one who said that this game was in the bag.
Well, this happened on Attacking Third.
Yes, but so the Attacking Third was doing is there a podcast or something? Is that what it is? So they did a podcast and had her on, Lisa. And she was talking about how Angel City are like the front runners. She thinks they're the front runners are going to win the league and win the championship. And it all starts with beating Seattle this past weekend. And she said, like, these two games against Seattle in the bag. Girl, do you know how like bad Angel City's record is against Lorraine? Like, show some respect. Show some respect.
Yeah, I saw that our GM tweeted that.
Oh yeah, and this was before the match too.
This is before the match.
Yeah, she was like, I'm gonna call them out now because I know what's gonna happen this weekend.
Yeah, and I saw that our GM retweeted it, and I was just like commented on it, and I was like, do they not know that our record is 7-1-1 against them?
Yeah, and now it's 8-1-1. Like let's
8-1-1.
Let's run this back now. All right. I mean, we do have another game against them, so like hopefully they don't get their revenge next time. But our record would still be really darn good.
Yeah, but I think when you call 2 games in the bag,
God,
and then you lose the first one, I feel like your points moot at that.
Yeah. You're half wrong so far.
Yeah,
and you're running towards 100% wrong. So
you're halfway there. I also thought the "ref you suck" chants
silly.
I feel like that's why like Super League like fans make fun of us from England.
Yeah.
Like, at least call him a wanker. At least call him like,
I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, this is gonna look really bad for you later as a fan, as fans, as a fan group. If you're just sitting over there, but that's fine by me. We're not Angel City fans, so I'm fine with them looking stupid.
Yeah,
welcome it.
And you could clearly hear it on the broadcast, which kudos to them. But same time, like, be a little bit more creative, please.
The one good thing that they did was shout out Jane Fonda when she was on the TV screen. They were like,
"Oh, that's great."
Woo! And I was like, who is it? It's like Jane Fonda. Okay, this makes sense. Big positive. We didn't wait until the very end to get back in the match. In fact, we went at the half up 2-1.
Yeah, sick. I love that.
Didn't know
we even went up. We even went up 2 goals.
Good response. Very good response. Did take some magic from G, but that's we used to need magic from like Rapinoe, so you gotta have that. You gotta have that in your arsenal.
Yeah, you have to have that card to pull.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when there's other things that aren't kind of going your way. I did watch the post-match presser right after the game.
Oh yeah,
the vibes on point. So it was CR King and AMC, and they were just like absolutely feeling it. And they're talking about G's goal and how magical that was amazing. And they were actually asked about VAR, and they said, I understand. And they came off the same game, seeing the same things on the
Mhm.
monitors, on the same
Mhm.
things as everybody else. And they said, I understand their frustration, but at the end of the day, we have to look forward. And I
And
was
it
like,
worked out for us too. Like they pointed out like you can't, it's hard to be critical when it works out for you.
yeah. But
Um,
also, like, I love the fact that, you acknowledge it and then you move on.
and she did bring up Howell's goal from last week.
Yeah, she did, which I
So
loved
yeah,
because
because there was not enough
no
talk
talk
about that.
about it.
Nope. No look at the monitor. It was just bullshit. It was such bullshit. So
And I love that. I also love that the vibes with her like standing up for Howell from the
mm-hmm.
last game
Mm-hmm.
after they're two of our very newest players.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much good energy coming from the team right now.
Yeah. And that's what you need if you're I mean, I know we still have a lot of work to do and it's still pretty slim chances to get to the playoffs, but this is what you need to make that playoff push.
Yeah.
You want to be kind of in this groove at this point. It's just too bad we don't have more points going into it because this is like exactly what you would need to like have a successful playoff run. It's just a matter of is it too late or not, but we'll figure that out
Uh,
later.
yeah, I don't think it's too late. I mean, where we're sitting now, we're all right. Not where we'd want to be for sure.
No. Yeah.
I think we could be in a worse spot, and we've won the last 3 games, and you really can't do anything more than that.
No.
We were hoping to come off, the Olympics break and make something happen, right?
Yeah, and that's
And we were
happened.
a little worried that it might not
We were very
because
worried.
we were critical of the AMC signing,
We were wrong.
which we were absolutely wrong.
Well, I was wrong. I don't know that you were as anti.
I mean, I was looking at
You were giving
thought,
her a chance more than maybe other people were.
yeah, I was giving her a chance, and hell yeah. I wouldn't say I was right because I wasn't like super stoked, but because I'm looking like future wise, because we have a lot
Yeah,
of older
sure.
players and we have a lot of younger players, and I'm looking in the middle and seeing what we have for next year.
Yeah,
And I don't know, like she's been stellar. Howell, I mean, you and I were both pretty keen on that trade.
a lot of people working on that trade.
I think a lot of people weren't.
Well, that's their problem.
I really just think that I hope that Montesir can get a little bit more match fit
Hmm.
and a little bit more, as Laura Harvey called it, I think match fit and match keen, ready to be involved a little bit more because I think she'll be an important part towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think the new signings, I mean, they're going into they're doing a post match presser and absolutely just like laughing, having
Yeah.
a good time, like already look like
Yeah, we haven't
close
seen that in a
friends.
while. We have not seen that in a long time. And
Mm-mm.
then like to pile on top of that, if you go on the players' Instagrams, they're like staying in LA. It looks like for at least another day to go to the beach and like hang out and kind of just like enjoy the win, enjoy the 3 wins that they've had
Yeah,
after this fucking tumultuous season that we have had up until these past 3 matches.
excellent word choice there. We got some other players you want to point out?
Yeah, I mean we kind of talked about her already, but I've gotta hand it to King. Zara King balled out in this game. Defensively, she was looking really good. She got the cross into Haidema that led to the penalty. Her
Great
fought,
cross.
yeah, great cross. Her FOT mob rating. I don't know if it was the highest one she's had this season. I'm guessing it probably is 8.2 FOT mob rating, tied for second with AMC. Number one was Huerta, obviously.
I don't
Um,
know if people know what FOTMob is. I realize that we've talked about it a lot, but we've never mentioned what it is.
it's like a stat nerd stuff.
So it's an app called
Uh-huh.
FOTMob, FOTMOB. We are not sponsored by them.
No.
Please sponsor us. But it's a great app where you can find stats from games. There are some women's leagues that aren't included on there, which I continue to protest online. But it's a really good resource for games and if you want to see schedules and things. But this is where we're pulling these from, and their ratings are usually pretty congruent.
They use a
with-
whole bunch of stuff to like come up with these ratings. It's not just like a few stats. They pull a whole bunch of things to try to figure out these ratings. So
Yeah, so they're
I think
pretty
they're fun to
congruent
look at. Yeah.
with other stats websites and things like SofaScore and things. But yeah, that's FOTMob. So we look at that a lot. So when we reference FOTMob, that's what it is. I would agree with her FOTMob rating.
Yeah.
I've been pretty critical with her lately.
Yeah.
And I think that, like I said earlier, that support behind her
Mm-hmm.
really has allowed for her and Haidema to really kind of figure out what's working up there.
One play I wanted to shout out because it didn't result in a goal, but I thought it was a really good heads up play from King. She was kind of like in like a little tussle tackle situation and ended up on the ground, but she was still able to pass the ball out to to the right. And so then Quinn was right there. And we all know Quinn has like a ridiculous, I don't know, ability to shoot these like rockets, right? Just so Quinn just blasted, but Herachich was there, got a good save on it, pushed it out, whatever, and then Heidemann was able to follow it up. It didn't result in a goal, but to see King putting in that effort and kind of being aware of what's happening around her to pull something off like that was just, to me, like, she's locked into this game. I don't know. I like seeing that kind of stuff from her.
Yeah, I think that we saw that from a lot of players this game where the effort was just kind of off the charts.
Yeah. I mean, they know that they have to win these games. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, that doesn't always mean they're going to act like it.
No.
But I think this goes with our like woo-woo vibes conversation where like I think they're kind of feeling it. And I think that they think that they know that there's a chance.
Yeah.
And so they're going to do whatever they can. So I think it feels like the players are bought in, and it feels like that's why we're getting these results.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have a team that's not bought in that gets these kind of results.
Yeah, and they're also like, right, we all know it's a bit of a long shot, right? So like, what do they have to lose kind of mentality.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And if you're coming on the field, make a difference.
Yeah, and you've got all these new people in, so like might as well just like see what everyone's good at and let's just figure it out. See what we can do.
Yep.
Who's a player you want to shout out in positives? Another player.
I want to talk about Sofia Huerta.
Captain Huerta. Because Fishlock got knocked off, but
yeah. She, for me, we talked about, I don't know if we aired these episodes that we did in the beginning of the season where we talked about like wanting her to like get back on her game, you know, because she fell off the national team call up, you know, roster and all of that. I think that and she was, you know, not playing at her best last season. And even towards the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
And so I just like every game for me, she looks better and better and better.
Yeah.
Her physicality is absolutely on point. She's able to wrestle people off the ball. She's able to shield the ball out against really, really high pressure. She's heading the ball out of danger in the box. She's converting penalties. She's stepped up when Balser left. And now she's scored the same amount of penalties as Bethany Balser did for us this season in 2 games. So I don't have enough good things to say about her. Like she is just, if she doesn't get a national team call up in the next window, I would be not surprised because the national team's kind of like a political thing. But at the same time, man, like she's been invaluable for us.
Yeah, she would deserve it. That's for sure.
Yeah, but she's been invaluable for the team. And I think that I hope she stays healthy.
Yeah.
She's like that cross is coming next game. I'll call it now. That assist is coming next game.
I know. Why are we still waiting? God damn it. Yeah, we definitely had. I'm sure there's an episode that is out because I like had remembered saying like multiple weeks in a row of being like, what do I want to see more of when we were not winning? And it was like, or what do I want to see happen? It was always like, we need Huerta to get back to Huerta. Here we are, and we're winning. So not a coincidence.
No, she's been fantastic, and if she keeps getting better every game, I'm so glad she's locked down for another year.
I'm really hoping because she's at this connection to Idaho, she has no desires to leave.
I know.
And I think she knows her value here and like her like how much we rely on her. And since she got this captain armband when Fishlock came off, like that could be our future, you know, for the team if and when Fishlock, maybe she'll play till she's 80. I don't know. But whenever Fishlock is moving on to the next adventure for herself, where to be the next captain for the club. I want to apologize right now. I edit out like pronunciations, us struggling and trying to learn pronunciations. We do try to put in a decent effort of figuring out name pronunciations, but I wanted to shout out Ji So Yun, which I have been told that it's pronounced the Yuns rhymes with sun. So
Yeah.
for folks who are maybe also weren't sure, that's what I was told.
Let me
Anyway,
find that guy's. Let me find that guy's Twitter so I can shout him out.
okay. We don't, and please, if we ever get something wrong, let us know. We would like to get things right, especially with players who are so good. I also
Players that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, players we're going to talk about. I mean, I want to get names right for anybody we mention, obviously. But I'm really getting humbled with pronunciations after giving lots of commentator shit about Sane's other names, and now here we are also doing bad things.
So Chris Coe, love that you're listening, and we appreciate you to say that Yun is pronounced like sun, rhymes with sun. So Jisoo Yun, not soon.
G is on a tear. I love it. Also, that play started with Shea Holmes getting forward and getting across to Haidama.
Mm-hmm.
And then Haidama was the one who laid the ball back into G, which is like, this is like, we're starting to see Haidama kind of get more involved in all these little things, just like in little ways. Like we don't necessarily, I mean, I would like to see Haidama obviously get rewarded with these goals, but it's great to see her involved in all of these things and all of the chances that we're getting, and dangerous chances. But yeah, G just phenomenal. Love her. What an addition she's been.
Yeah, I think that what we were talking about a couple episodes ago about like finding the pieces, right?
Yep.
To make
Yeah.
everything work. Not really finding one solution, but finding the pieces to make the whole thing fit together.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of seeing the evidence of that.
Yeah.
So we're getting players on the field that make each other better.
Yeah. I don't want to be negative on Balser because I do think she can provide something for a different team in the way that they're set up, but it's becoming very obvious to me that that wasn't maybe the right fit for what we have started to build here now.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a positive trade for us, and I think that they're stoked on having her there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that she can continue to or start to do things.
I know she got the assist in the first match, but it's kind of been a little quiet since then, since the Seattle
She's been
humbling.
subbed off.
Yeah.
Like early in the first half.
Which now Louisville's below us in the standings.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Last positive shout out, our new fave.
Oh, AMC.
AMC.
I don't even have the notes pulled up. I know it's AMC. I love her. She
so
is
much more than I expected.
She is such a fucking boss.
Yeah.
And her vision.
Yeah.
And where she sees players on the pitch and her ability to play balls that are well weighted and just right.
It reminds me of
so
Rapinoe, but on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit, at least.
Her physicality, too. Like I talked about this with Huerta.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we are just starting to kind of like physically bully teams.
Yeah.
And we haven't been that way.
We haven't been that way for a long time.
Maybe ever.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so we haven't had that physicality, maybe ever, on the team. I think that is so invaluable to have players that, I mean, we've had it in Fishlock, because when Fishlock in the past has gotten the ball, she's able to keep the ball on her feet.
She's so
kind
small,
of shield
though.
players off.
But she's very small.
It's not about height.
But I don't think it hurts when you're, because how much taller is Grochvich? It certainly doesn't hurt, I would say.
It doesn't hurt.
I would say
you know how I am with height.
I know,
height
but
arguments.
I'm shorter than you. But I just feel like, yes, Fishlock has done what she's like. It's been impressive what she's done.
I don't want to bring this in, but like it's like Messi. Messi always keeps the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
But it's all about body positioning, right?
Yeah. That's what Fishlock's done.
I think there's that, but I think also like with Crnogorcevic and Huerta, it's very much a lot about just them putting in the work, putting in the body, and just kind of pushing players out of the way. And I love that.
Yeah, it's fun that we're that team finally.
It's really fun. So the physicality is great, but I think the vision's even better. I think that her ability to make King better, to get Haidama in, to really get everybody else involved in the attack, which you can see stats wise, right?
Yeah.
She's doing everything. So shout out to her. Excellent. Well done.
I love it. I was very skeptical, and I felt a little mad when the signing did end up being true from the rumors, and gonna go ahead and take this L and let
Are
everyone
you
know.
ageist?
I can be. Yeah, absolutely. But I also like know that like we're looking at our roster and we've got a few people who are up there in age, and it's just like to me, I didn't want to add to that problem that we're going to be facing. But at the same time, I didn't really look at it the other side of it where like, and I kind of tried to reason with this when we signed her. I was just like, we did lose a veteran who was capable of great things, even at, an older age for athletes. In Rapinoe, right? Like
Yeah.
she was like our best player.
Hmm.
Aside from Lavelle when she was healthy, but and Sonnet. But, you know, I think if you've got a good veteran, can definitely make everyone else better and they can figure out what they're doing a lot easier.
Well, I think it takes the pressure off other players that
Oh,
are
for
older
sure.
on the roster. So like Fishlock,
Yeah.
Barnes, those players takes a little pressure off of them because they're not necessarily. I mean, you could say that Crnogorcevic is like kind of in the same line as Fishlock is, but it kind of just it's another avenue for players to find mentorship. So I think that's invaluable, and it might be overlooked when we look at a signing like that.
To be fair, I mean, it seems like there's maybe a 3.5 or 4 year age difference between Fishlock and Crnogorcevic. So, like, if we can
I think
get,
Fishlock's like 37.
yeah, she's turning 38. What in like January. And Crnogorcevic is turning 34, and I think October was it October? Let me see. October. Yeah, I had that
Mm.
right. Look at me go. She's 33 now, but she's turning 34. Um, we've seen some really good stuff out of players in those ages if they take care of their bodies and they know like and they have the vision that you're talking about. If they have that in their skill set, they can have a very, very long career.
Yeah, I think the concern for me is kind of the interim, right? Because we've got these older players,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote, older for athlete players, and our mid range is not deep. And so I think there's a concern there. But I think that what maybe we weren't thinking about when that signing was talked about possibly happening was that why are we bringing a player in for 1 or 2 seasons when the season already kind of felt like a
Yeah.
wash?
Yeah.
And so I credit the team, for this, but this season is by far not a wash yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that having some valuable players in, even if they're only going to spend 1 or 2 seasons with us, will help whatever goes forward.
Yeah. We did add Howell, so we're talking about, that could be a
Oh
player.
God, what a monster!
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the next game just
Yeah.
because I want to see her play.
Think we can wrap it up for positives, moving into negatives. We don't have a ton to talk about there. We've also been talking a lot already about positives, but negatives, Fishlock injury, subbed out 17th minute.
Yeah, I mean it was a no contact injury, so we have to wonder what that's gonna turn into.
Yeah. She came off.
She's been going down
Yeah.
every game though with a little bit of something, so I would think that it's probably a nagging injury.
Yeah. She's tough. It seems like Harvey's optimistic about it, so we'll see. But it seems like we did fine without her. So I'm not as worried as I used to be maybe about that.
Yeah.
Another negative. I mean, this is just kind of me feeling bad for somebody, but like Angel City fans don't understand the rules and they just got too hung up on the VAR calls and they weren't willing to accept, how the rules of soccer are. I just felt bad for them. So I wanted to like, I feel you. I'm sorry you don't understand it. You'll figure it out someday, I'm sure. Next, we'll wrap that up there. I think that there's nothing else to add to that unless you've got something.
I won't add anything to that.
Okay. Next one. Despite how good she looks, in my opinion, respectfully, in a respectful manner, Leanne Sanderson, we need to make up our mind or like do a little bit more research maybe when we're commentating because some of the stuff she was talking about didn't make any sense. And I don't get it. She had said like G has scored a bunch of bangers this season. She has only scored 2 goals before this match.
When talking about G.
When talking about G.
Yeah, I think she played with G in Europe though, so like she is biased a bit with her and really
But
likes how she is.
Just don't say that this season. That's all you needed to do. Just like she has a history of scoring bangers, right? Like that's all you needed to say.
My issue with her is that she doesn't shut up and she's just like filling
Yeah,
filling
sure.
space.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily need to be filled. I understand that it's like part of your job, but at the same time, like just because it's silent doesn't mean you need to say something and say something that is wrong.
Yeah. Let the game speak for itself. She had also said something about Mondesir, and she's seen a lot from Mondesir this season. Mondesir had only played 3 games. Is that a lot?
No.
Okay, great. Anyways, just wanted to do a quick shout out, Leanne. Maybe just let the game kind of play itself out, you know?
22 minutes of stoppage time this game. 22 plus.
I could have watched nearly an entire episode of Couples Therapy.
You still have Showtime?
I do still have Showtime right now. I'm on season 3 of Couples Therapy. There's 4 seasons, so after I get through the 4th season, I'll be canceling Showtime because I am deep into that Couples Therapy.
I need to watch it. I keep seeing clips on TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's like kind of traumatizing to watch some of these things, but it's good TV. 22 minutes. I know the first half kind of made sense because of Fishlock's injury and stuff, and then there's a bunch of VAR calls, but there's something that needs to change.
Well, VAR mostly was like in second half, but
yeah, we need to. I mean, there was 12 minutes in the second half. We've talked about this several times, so I don't want to harp on it too much, but it did seem like more people are starting to talk about it. Darian Jenkins, they had like talked about like movies that were the length of how much stoppage time there was at a time was from not last weekend, the weekend before that, and it was like you could have watched an entire like long movie with how much stoppage time there was. Something needs to change. I hate it.
We also gave up 2 goals. Not great, but you win the game. It's hard to argue against giving up any goals. I think my one thing was we got to get better. Like those 2 goals we did give up were from crosses. So those plays from outside the box in. So that back line really needs to get it together. I did miss one positive.
Oh yeah, I forgot you wanted to shout this out. I do remember.
Want to shout this out.
We didn't write it down, but you did text me about it before we popped on.
I've been very critical on Claudia Dickey this season, and she had a really, really good save this game that I want to talk about. I kind of want to break it down a little bit. So in the 66th minute, there was a shot from the right side of the box inside the box, and pretty close range, and it hits kind of off the right side of McLaren's butt, and it looks like it's going in. Claudia Dickey dives and is able to get her hand down and get the ball outside of the far post. And that says one thing to me, is that her positioning was correct. Because if your positioning is not right in that, you're diving backwards and that ball goes in the net from that angle. Another thing, she's able to get there. So that reaction time is fantastic. I can talk crap about her distribution this game because it was left something to be desired, but I won't talk about it because we won the game and it didn't ultimately matter. But this save mattered.
She also held it down at the end.
Yeah.
Really,
and she's
really
really good getting the ball out of the air.
Yeah.
But this save like kind of sold me on her.
Yeah. That's big because you've been really critical about these kinds of things.
Specifically
these things. Yeah.
Well, a lesser goalkeeper is in this position because you're so far turned to the near post that you're not able to get your hand down, and that ball, you're diving backwards because you're falling with the shot. But she's able to step out at least vertically, or not vertically, sideways, and get her hand out so the ball's going past the post. Yeah, so shout out to her. That was an excellent save.
Good old Claudia.
Good old Claudia.
One last negative you had? Back to one last negative. That's when it was funny.
Well, so the Angel City players like kept falling in the box. It was like, okay, sure, you might be getting bodied a bit, but it wasn't a foul. You need to figure it out.
Yeah, to me, it was almost like they thought because they had lost so many VAR challenges, they were like, well, if we fall down, like one of these has to go our way.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not how the game works. Also, those VAR calls were correct. Like the whole point is to make the correct call that you maybe missed. So, like, I don't know, get up.
It kind of culminated in that last ditch effort that Kristen Press had in the box, where she ended up like hugging Sofia Huerta to the ground, also known as a tackle.
If that's their game plan.
Press for me was not impressive this game.
Well, and I can't be too harsh on her because she didn't play in what, like over 700 days or something crazy like that. So I feel like for someone who hasn't played for that long, she did okay.
Yeah, but I mean, tackling a defender to the ground, you're already behind.
Yeah,
I'm overly critical. Let it happen.
Yeah. Not my player, so it's whatever. I don't care. I mean, it's cool that she's come back.
Yeah, hell yeah to her. When I came back from my ACL, I ended up having 2 surgeries.
Yeah.
And my reconstruction, and then I had a second arthroscopic surgery. So the fact that she's had 4 to get back to this point is incredible.
And it's still, yeah, it is able to get back and get some minutes. Really cool. But I'm glad she's not playing for us. That's all. And maybe, hey, you know, if she gets like one good moment, that'd be cool.
She deserves it.
She deserves exactly that. You know, it sucks that we're seeing all these players from that generation that we watched. A lot of them haven't gone out in like a good way, and I mean, even if Press comes back and gets like a little bit of what she used to be, man, those like years
we're grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah, we really are.
We'll get to that when we get to Alex Morgan in a bit. But I think first, you have any other comments on the game?
I'm excited we won 3 matches in a row. Didn't know that this team could do that. Gives me hope. It gives me reason to follow the rest of the games around the league, which is kind of always a fun thing to do at this time of year. Because you're kind of just watching different matches and, you know, you have certain teams you want to root for and everything. So I don't really know much more I have to say about this game. We have got a tough opponent next match, so we'll see if we are as legit as it's been looking like.
You want to give a cooler player of the match?
Let's get into the cooler player of the match, which is brought to you now by the doctor's office, bar on Capitol Hill. Really cool bar on Capitol Hill.
We love it.
We do. We are going with
Sofia Huerta.
Should we say though for this one, not just Sofia Huerta, Captain Sofia Huerta. Like sure. It'll be in the Hall of Fame as Captain Sofia Huerta.
Okay, yeah.
She hasn't been cooler player of the match yet. She's been player of the match the last 2 matches now, which I do think we decided that earns you cooler player of the match.
Well, that and her performance in this game, but congratulations to Captain Sofia Huerta for being inducted into the Cooler Player of the Match Hall of Fame. Well done this game. Absolutely invaluable. Great, just great game.
Yeah. One of the few, I don't have a ton of player jerseys. Sofia Huerta is one of the player jerseys I do have. So I love this for her. We want to thank once again our sponsor, the doctor's office. With its intimate 12-seat bar setting, TDO Seattle is the best place to grab a drink before or after a rain match.
Enjoy a Beachcomber Paloma or 3, one for each rain win in a row. Cinnamon, guava, and butter for texture. Enliven this Paloma with beach vibes, rich flavors, and a positive outlook on life. Check out their Instagram at TDO Seattle, or better yet, go drink there in person. Cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Clink. All right, we got to talk about this because it's really sad for our millennial brains. But Alex Morgan, yeah, and out of nowhere, Alex Morgan retiring.
She's done. Boots are hung up. Done. She announced it. It happened. She played little over 13 minutes, maybe.
I think it was like 15 minutes when she came off, but
yeah. Well, I mean, there was a whole thing going on in classic Morgan fashion. I do have to point this out. She did take a penalty and it did get saved. And if you followed Alex Morgan's penalty kick history, I think this was kind of a funny ending because it was kind of fitting. And then she still got to celebrate a goal with the team one more time before getting subbed off, which is like, for her, I think that's all she could have hoped for.
And I think that I feel like it's not quite on the Rapinoe scale for me, but after the Ace report and after my view of her completely shifted 180 degrees, I just am going to miss the game without her. And she left it 100% a better place than she started at.
I think it was pretty well known that she had one of the biggest followings, for one reason or another, as a U.S. Women's National Team player, and she used that for good things. And she could have easily not done that, but she always tried to do the right thing, and she tried to stand up for people who didn't have the platforms like she did. That goes along with all the people with the Yates report, but also like with what she did with Tottenham. I respect her so much, and I didn't expect her retirement to like make me feel so emotional, because there's people who are like huge Morgan fans, right? That was never really me, but just seeing, because yeah, I've watched her for like since the beginning. I followed women's soccer. She's been there for me at least, and it's just ending. All of a sudden, it's ending. We're not going to see her again, at least on the field, and it had me feeling super, super emotional in a way that I did not expect.
The announcement didn't really hit me, but as somebody that's been watching women's soccer for most of their life and following the U.S. Women's National Team, like her inclusion in the beginning of that was mostly seen as, to me at least, like reaching out to like white male fans
Yeah.
and what they wanted. And that didn't seem, it seemed like a good marketing thing, but I didn't feel a lot of connection with her as a person,
yeah, sure.
which is kind of like the main thing that you do with women's national team players, right?
Yeah.
And so I never really got that. And then it took until what, like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God, like you've just been like, not secretly, but like behind the scenes, actually just this stand up fucking human being.
Yeah.
And using every power that you have
Mm-hmm.
for being like the face of the league for people that it's like really easy to be. You don't have the Megan Rapinoe backlash.
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of like the straight woman who is very good at soccer and is really pretty, and you're using that and you're leveraging that for the best things that you could and risking your career and risking everything that you've built. I could not respect a person more. When she came off the field, like I didn't lose it, but I just like I got way more emotional than I thought I would.
Yeah. It was I don't know. It's just it's crazy seeing somebody like that. I don't know. We've had so many of these goodbyes for this generation of players, and I don't know. It has me feeling a certain type of way.
I didn't expect like my reflection on her career to be so meaningful, and I think that that's my own fault.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a fair point. I think for me, I don't know. There's just like, I mean, you touched on this, but like usually when we see somebody speaking out for people, it's not someone that does look like Alex Morgan, right? Because it would be she could do her whole career with how good she's been or whatever. She doesn't need to be that person, but she's been that person to stand up.
Yeah. And she did it all behind the scenes.
I know she didn't try to do it for like attention or anything.
No, she never asked for anything. She never wanted, to be seen as like the biggest ally for women or to like need that. She did it out of what
Yeah.
she felt was right. And I feel like that is just, it's such a stand up thing to do. It was pointed out to me that it's what every person with a conscience should do.
Yeah, totally, totally.
When you have that power and you're a female athlete and you have a lot at stake, I feel like it's more difficult for you, whether it should be or not.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
And the fact that she did it just blows my mind and makes me so thankful that she was involved in the game at this time.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex Morgan, for everything you've done.
Thank you for your Sounders Women's Days.
Yeah, thank you for marrying a Sounder. Thank you for being a Sounder. Brief league results to cover. Orlando's still undefeated. Will they finish it that way?
I don't know.
They've got a pretty tough schedule coming up. They got to play KC again, which, like I said, KC for me on Fraud Watch still.
Yeah, they are.
They're still on Fraud Watch. But the Orlando does have Spirit. That's going to be a really tough game. They've got the Thorns. That could go either way. I would put my money on Orlando.
Yeah.
Just because of Thorns' defense. not great. Gotham, that's gonna be challenging depending on who's available, and then us. So I'm not looking forward to that for the rain perspective.
I kind of am.
A test
The
before.
the biggest test.
I just wish the timing was different. That's all. I wish it was not
Yeah,
the last, kind of the end, very, very end. I'd rather have it like sooner. But
it
I
would
don't
be
know.
nice. It would be nice, like table wise, but they're gonna be clinched, right?
Yeah, so they could be saving people.
There's that.
Okay, okay. No, you know what? You talked me into it. All right. Um,
Took a lot. Here we go.
I mean, unless they're still undefeated at that point, I guess my hope is be that they have one loss so that they're not trying to go for an undefeated
Yeah,
season.
that would
If
be
that,
that
if
would be the kicker there.
Yeah.
But right now we're in 10th place, 3 points off the playoff line, but we're a goal differential behind Red Stars.
four would put us above, so we're not too far off. It would definitely be relying on other results to go our way. But I don't know. There's some teams at the top of the league that, as long as those teams around us are playing those other teams, with a pretty good chance to. We just got to take care of our business. We have to take care of our business first and foremost because that's what matters the most right now. So
Yeah, and I think that the fact that we're having this conversation is a win.
yeah, absolutely. Didn't think this was gonna be happening early in the summer.
No.
Next game, it's at home. Actually, you know what? I want to shout out one more league result. Just one more. I want to shout out to the Thorns and the Spirit. We had a last minute game winner from Lacey Santos, 90+6.
It was a good goal.
It was a really good goal, and the Thorns lost. Across from Rodman, Santos was just completely unmarked in the box and headed the ball really, really well. Got it past.
She's tiny.
She is tiny. Which is like, what are you doing in the box defense? Don't know, but Arnold was just like frozen. I like sent Van like an emoji of a tree because I was like, hey, look, it's Arnold, because she just didn't move. She just froze. And so they lost. Interesting. Anyways, we can move on. I just wanted to shout out our good friends down in Portland.
Next match.
Next match for us, Monday, we got a Monday night football match, September 16th, 7 p.m. at Lumen Field. Get your tickets if you haven't yet. It's against Gotham of all people.
Yeah, we tied 1-1 in the last game in New Jersey. Rose wasn't there for the last match.
She might not be available for this next match. I haven't seen any updates on that, but she's dealing with some sort of thigh issue, so she wasn't available last game. I would prefer if it stayed that way, personally.
I mean, I want her to play.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so upset if she was still dealing with something, though. That's all.
You don't wish for players to be injured.
I'm not wishing her to be injured. I'm just like, oh, if she's still recuperating, I guess it helps us.
Don't force her into the game.
No, I would never. I have a Roosevelt jersey. She's, again, few player jerseys. I think she's the only maybe national team jersey I have with the player name on it is Roosevelt. So, and I got her on a national team jersey, not a Rain jersey, because I was pretty confident she wouldn't be with the Rain for very long. Gotham's last match, 2-1 win over Houston, which is kind of
not great.
Not great. Houston sucks.
Yeah, they're in last place.
And like deservedly last place. I don't know what we're gonna get there. Monday night, we got a Monday night game, which will be fun. Our other favorite player, I mean, we have so many favorite players these days, but one of our favorite players will be back from her yellow card accumulation, Jalen Howell.
Yes.
I'm expecting her to do some fun things. And AMC, I'm really hoping for another great AMC game.
I'm hoping Montesir can get in for at least like a good 25 minutes.
Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be cool. Shout outs?
Yeah, let's do our shout outs. We are here and we are in 10th place, which now means the shout outs that we have this week, because we have to pile it on, right? We have to keep piling it on when we can. We now have 4 teams below us. So shout out to Louisville, shout out to San Diego, Utah, and Houston. Just
thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to you. If anyone wants to join them soon, we welcome that. Any other shout outs you have?
No, that's it for shout outs.
That's it for shout outs. You can follow us. You can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and also same handle at Instagram, Cooler Guild Pod. I'm going to be starting a new thing on there. If you guys want to partake in that, it's going to be called Coolers in the Wild.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. We'll start sharing other people's posts of it. But if you ever see a cooler in the wild, either the word cooler as part of something or an actual cooler, take a pic, send it to us. We're going to start posting those just to kind of get some fun going. Maybe if you see a fun cooler you could sit on, like Laura Harvey, take a picture like that. You want to plug the email?
And you can send us an email. We love an email. Send that to thecoolerguild@gmail.com. Or you can visit us on our main page, sounderatheart.com/thecoolerguild.
Wherever you're listening, rate 5 stars.
Leave a review. Till next week.
I'm Coop.
I'm Van.
Bye.
Bye.
Maybe we should go celebrate, get drunk at Disney World, and get kicked out.
Epcot Center.